In the city of Miami, where one commissioner is arrested on corruption charges and suspended, another is responsible for weaponizing city government against political opponents. Increasing scrutiny is now on the mayor, Francis Suarez. He is under FBI investigation and under scrutiny by a team at the Miami Herald, raising questions about using his public office for private gain. We actually asked the mayor about some of that when he was with us 2 months ago today. Here is this documentation of this company and Rishi Kapoor thanking you for your help on something. What did you help them on? And helping a constituent is what you're supposed to do, but the payment for that help as an elected official, is what's problematic to constituents. So what is he thanking you for?
Of course, that would be problematic. And I have absolutely, by the way, I'm not upset at all at the Miami Herald for writing an article based on.
I'm not talking about the Herald at all. In fact, the Herald is the one who
I'm not upset at any media outlet for talking about it. I'm here to talk about it with you. I'm not upset at anyone for wanting to talk about it. I think it's absolutely in bounds.
So what were they thanking you for?
I have no idea what he was thanking me for. I wasn't involved in those emails. I wasn't included in those emails. So I was never told that.
Important to note, there are no legal nor ethical conclusions, though some, including Miami's former police chief, believe the writing's on the wall. Jorge Colina, one of Suarez's close allies as chief, right here with us live today. So good to have you on the program, Jorge Colina.
So nice to be with you, Glenna.
Merry Christmas to you. Beautiful tree in the background.
Thank you.
So there was a very close-knit working relationship that you had when you were chief with the mayor, and during his first term, I believe you retired right at the end of his first term. What changed since then?
In terms of his behavior, or in terms
of your perspective on him?
I think what's changed is paying attention to the media, paying attention to the stories that have come out, scrutinizing what city officials are doing. When you work in the city, you're kind of enveloped by everything that's happening around you. Being able to step back and watch, you really do have a different perspective. And I root for the city every day. I root for everyone that's there. I spent a little over 30 years working at the city of Miami. But it gets to a point, Glenna, where quite frankly, it's embarrassing of what's going on in Miami. It's one controversy after another. It's one elected official being wrapped up in an investigation or a lawsuit or a combination of both. And it starts to get old, and you want to see your city rise above that.
Yeah, it's difficult to have the drip, drip, drip of news reports, even on this morning's front page of the Miami Herald. I believe the headline is "Absentee Mayor." But in fairness, the city of Miami does not have a strong mayor. In fact, Mayor Suarez tried to make that happen, and it didn't. So he has a veto power, and he has a couple of other powers, but not much. That belongs to the commission. So he is an ambassador, really, for the city. So can a case be made that he is doing an ambassador's job?
You can make a case, absolutely. And I think it's always appropriate to give someone the benefit of the doubt, right, in trying to make a case. But I don't accept this is a ceremonial position with little power. Ultimately, it's still a position of leadership, right? And people look to you for leadership. And when you don't say anything about what's going on in the city, that silence, that essentially equates to acceptance, to it being okay. And it's not acceptable, and it's not okay what's going on at the city of Miami.
So now that you are, to your point, reading the headlines and reading these stories and the details and the background, in hindsight, can you think of anything during your tenure as chief with the mayor that maybe in the present tense you didn't really focus on, but in hindsight might have been problematic?
In hindsight, really the only thing was there were already things going on at City Hall, right? The behavior of certain commissioners that in hindsight, I certainly wish there would have been a greater voice, right? Not just that from a department head, but from technically the leader of the city of Miami. in that of the mayor, right? So in hindsight, and again, we know how that works, hindsight being 2020, certainly it would have been good to hear even back then, kind of laying the foundation for what's acceptable and what isn't, what's proper decorum and what isn't.
You're talking about, just to be clear, you're talking about you would have liked to hear that from Mayor Suarez about other things going on in the city?
Yeah, at commission, we would see, even when I was chief, we would see things that would come up at commission. We would see behavior of certain commissioners, the way they would speak out against certain people, if they didn't like what you were saying when you had your 2 minutes, right, of public discussion where you're allowed to go and express yourself. I would have liked to have seen a more forceful position of leadership and saying, hey, that's not acceptable. And we're ultimately accountable to our constituencies, right? We are here to work for the people of Miami as a whole, not just the powerful, not just the wealthy, but for everyone. Would have liked to have seen more of that. Now, I think the mayor did a great job in promoting the city of Miami. I think he had a lot of energy going out and promoting the city of Miami. But there's a lot of hats that you have to wear when you hold a position like that, and I would have liked to have seen more of it.
All of this really started coming out because the mayor ran for president. In that failed presidential campaign, he had to file financials that he never had to file before. And I think that really laid the groundwork for a lot of the public records reporting that has bubbled up since. You have not technically called for his resignation from your perch. You've hedged a bit on that. And I wonder, is that because you have seen no direct evidence that he's done anything wrong that can be dotted and crossed as illegal?
Well, I don't really know enough about the investigation, right, to comment on it in terms of this is an absolute slam dunk, right? His relationship with the Saudi government, him acting on behalf of others outside of the city, but using the umbrella of the mayor of the city, right? Some of those things, those lines do get blurred. I think it's a legitimate question. I don't think it was appropriate for the mayor's office to say that the comments of a new sitting commissioner were comical, like the Herald story. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I think it's legitimate to consider him resigning. I think that's a question that he should be asking himself. When you are in a position of leadership, you need to do what's best for the city as a whole, collectively, not what's best for you. And so that's why I'm saying it's a legitimate question on whether he should step aside so the rest of the city can move on and kind of break away from this dark cloud that seems to be lingering over the city of Miami. Do I personally think that he should resign, just to kind of get to the question? I do. I do think that he should do that, but that's a personal decision. To your earlier point, there isn't anything legally that's binding him to do that. It's really more about what's ultimately best for Miami. And if you're honest about that question, asking yourself that question, I think the best thing for the city of Miami is for him to step aside and for the city to move on with different leadership, different commissioners, different government.
Former Chief George Colina, even in your retirement, when I know you're not really retired because you work a lot, but I know you are still a very important voice in the city, and I appreciate you weighing in with us today.
Thank you, Glenn, and Merry Christmas to everyone over.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.